Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Paul Gerst. I'm with travis.yml, and welcome to the very first office hours with travis.yml. First and most important, thank you for taking the time to be here today. We really appreciate your time. We want to provide a lot of value to you, but keep it brief. We expect to be only about 30 minutes. If you have to leave or you know someone else is interested, the replay will be posted on the Travis CI blog. You can find it there. Our speaker will be about 15 to 20 minutes. Then we'll have time for questions. If you ask a question, if you could please use the hashtag question so I can find your question more easy. In the interest of time, please keep comments to the subject at hand. You can email support@travis-ci.com if you have a product-related question. We want to do this regularly, so please let us know what you want to hear. Today, we are extremely fortunate to have Travis CI's Michael Mendy join us today. Michael is one of the most prominent members of the CI/CD community. He is a software engineer with Travis CI. He regularly speaks before groups talking about CI/CD. He's spoken at IBM, DroidCon, Lead Dev, ARM Dev Summit, and many, many others. His intimacy with CI/CD pipelines comes with extensive knowledge of things like YAML, Docker, and other software infrastructure technologies, managing high-level server systems from small to large-scale deployments around the world. I'm going to turn it over to Michael.
Thank you, Paul. That was a fantastic introduction. I guess we'll get started with slides here. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to go through these slides really quick, kind of give you an idea of what we're doing today, and then we'll do a demo build here. All right, so we're going to be adding GPUs to our Travis CI builds. So right here is the GPU table. You can kind of see, depending on how you define the YAML file. So if you run GPU medium or GPU X large, you'll get different results. So if you do medium, you'll get a GDDR6, or if you do X large, you'll do a high bandwidth memory 2. So it's an N1 standard 8 NVIDIA T4 for medium and N1 standard 8 NVIDIA V100 for X large. So as you can imagine, we're using Google Cloud Engine for that. So the pricing is pretty straightforward. So the T4 medium is 230 credits per started build minute. And then the V100 X large at 890 credits per build minute. Of course, these are running in parallel. You can run them in parallel, and specifically the high bandwidth memory HBM2 V100 X large is definitely running in parallel. All right, so editing your travis.yml, we'll go through that. I think this is a pretty straightforward process. The build demo that I have is straightforward. We're not going to do anything too crazy today. But again, after this webinar, you can always ask questions or email me. So a couple tips here, just to make sure that you are running the GPU. You may want to add nproc and free-hm in your script hook, and we'll kind of go over that too in the demo. I think it is very imperative at least to check the worker, and that'll be the next slide, at least to see if it's building on GPU. If it's not, if you see something like minimal or something, then you're not building on GPU. So this is where we run off here, check out if the GPU is running. You'll kind of see here, you'll see GPU-169, and that's kind of the Travis job. And you'll see AMPQ. And then you'll know you're running on a GPU. So let's actually get into a build here. All right, so let's go into the Travis CI UX UI first. Kind of check my build history. And we'll go to 1 first, so you know the difference between GPU and when you're not getting a GPU. So if you see something like this, Travis CI Ubuntu 2004 minimal, you're not running on GPU, right? So we're going to go back here and look at one that's running actually on GPU. We'll go to worker information and instance Travis jobs, Travis CI Ubuntu GPU. So we know GPU is invoked. Right here, the free HM, and then we're going to grep men total, and that should print out exactly what we would expect. The nproc, there's 8 cores, and you have a successful build. So what if you want to start editing your travis.yml file? Well, it's pretty easy. I'm expecting everyone that's watching has the auth app installed on GitHub and has at least one repo running travis.yml. So we're going to change this to medium, and we're going to do all the same scripts. So free HM, grep memtotal, and npros. So this is going to be really looking to really make sure and spit those specs out back to me, really to make sure that I'm running on GPU. So we're going to commit these changes. Travis CI webinar push. There's my email, commit changes. You should see a, okay. Some checks haven't completed yet. So it's going to be kind of going through the checks. Let's go to details here. So you can kind of see the language I'm running here is Ruby. The operating system I'm running is Linux, Ubuntu, Focal Fossa. And you'll see this is the JSON and the build config. So Ruby, Linux, Focal, GPU medium. And then you'll see the script hook here, free HM, grep memtotal. And really, we're just going to kind of skip the install because there's really nothing running here other than just showing you kind of the GPU environment, if you will. So that is one thing to know, that we're actually not building a iOS or Android app or something like that would require lots of GPU speed, or even something, multi-threading, for example. And you'll see down here, it'll say view more details on Travis CI. All right, so the build is kind of taking place here already. Yep, we're running on GPU. It is good to note that you can actually download the raw log. So this can just stay with you if you need it. And, you can Control F GPU. And yeah, that's something to really keep in mind. All right, it looks like this one passed. Travis CI webinar push. Swap, grep memtotal. 300, nproc cores 8, and that's exactly what we would expect with medium. And the same would go if you wanted to switch it to X large, and the process is pretty similar. So let's go back into our .travis YAML. And really the difference is speed and price on bigger projects. And we can change this to X large. And we'll commit changes. Travis CI webinar push 2. Add GPU X large. Commit. Okay, you'll see that now it's some checks haven't been completed yet. Let's make sure that it's okay. GPU X large. Let's read the commit push. Yep, add GPU X large. We see it changed here in the diff, in the get diff. GPU medium, GPU X large. You see the script is the same. Let's go to build details. You'll see again here, we're running on Ruby and Linux Focal Fossa. I believe later on in the month, we're going to have Jammy support, so that'll be good. So you'll see here kind of same JSON output, Linux, Focal. The only real difference you'll see is this GPU X large and some of more of the script hook here, which is npros and grep. And again, we're kind of just completely installing or skipping the install of any dependencies, things like that. So this build's querying, it's queuing, and actually just started. So let's make sure. Yep. So now we can tell on the 169 that we are building on the HBM2, the high bandwidth memory from Google Cloud Engine. And this is also interesting. You can also look at this on the raw log. So some of the distributor IDs, Ubuntu, release 20.4, Focal. This is a long-term support version, API version. So you can kind of really just get really everything that you want. These are some of the dependencies here, the container, curl, etc., things you would expect. And grab memtotal, and there you go. The processor's 8, and there you go. If you want some more info here, you can kind of see what version of Ruby we're using. Yeah, so that is essentially it. Let's see here. Let's go to the last slide. So thank you. And let's go kind of to these questions one by one. Question: difference in speed of build if I add a GPU. So yeah, Cowex, I think that is definitely something you should think about before actually deploying a GPU build. Medium and X large, depending on what you're building. So for an iOS / Android app, it could shave off 10 minutes if you do X large versus medium. It could even shave off 15. It just really depends on what you're grabbing from the cloud, what dependencies are coming down the pipe, etc., etc. Okay, 2 questions. How does Travis make GPU processing more time and cost efficient? 2, where do you see GPU technology being in 5 years? That's an interesting question, Bernardo. Thank you. So I think GPU processing makes time and cost efficient in Travis via just really shaving off time when you have really heavy, let's say, Android builds or iOS build that are using, SDKs that are really heavy. So iOS, Android, that are running Xcode, or Android that's running, OpenJDK 11 or newer. So I think those are 2 things you really got to keep in mind. So that's kind of the cost efficiency there. Also, it runs in parallel. So you could technically have 2 builds going at once on X large. That wouldn't work on medium. So keep in mind with that. And then to the second question, where do I see it being in 5 years? I think probably a lot of, quantum computing, helping AI get through kind of, its processing. We're kind of already seeing that with OpenAI and things like that. So pretty exciting stuff here. And of course, we hope down the line, we're going to be adding ARM64 support for this. So you kind of have ARM on the architecture end, and then, GPU running on the GPU end. So that's kind of, the build should be, super fast if you're just running anything Android, iOS. So that's pretty exciting. Let's see, any other questions here? Thank you to Aloha, such a timely post. I appreciate it. And I think one thing to note here is you can sign up at travis-ci.com and just get a free trial going. And you can actually just run through the gamut of setting up a GPU right away. Remember, just install that OAuth app on GitHub, add the .travis.yml. I actually will post in this webinar the link to my sample builds here, so everyone can have it. Comments here. Here's the here's a sample build, so you can run through it, try it yourself, copy paste. Yep, there it is, github.com/montana-gpu Travis, and kind of see where I took it, kind of the different things that I outputted, and maybe try some new things yourself. And if you get stuck on something, you can definitely always email me at montana@travis-ci.org, or if you just need general support on something GPU related, we have a great support team, support@travis-ci.com. So I think that's 2 emails to keep in mind when you're running into any issues at Travis CI. Also, don't forget about the community forums. It's a great great process there as well. It's pretty straightforward. So kind of just waiting for more questions. And email me any questions you have at montana@travis-ci.org when you see this. So if you didn't make it to the live events, you can always watch it recorded, and you'll know the emails to contact your questions there. Just waiting for a question, if there are any more here. Give another 10 seconds. Alrighty, so if you have any more questions, email me again at montana@travis-ci.org, and I will see you in the build. Thank you.